Hi, Neeraj.
Hi,
Welcome to the Quint.
thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, and this is the first time that we are speaking on Skype.
Yep.
Uh, so I'll start by asking you, since it's a rare time that we are living in, what are you doing during self-isolation? How are you spending time?
Same like most of us are doing. I mean, we're spending time with family, reading, uh, catching up on a lot of pending introspection.
Are you also
Yeah,
writing?
not started writing as yet, but yeah, I mean, from tomorrow day after, I think that's also on the cards. Yeah.
All right, all right. Now, this is your first foray into web,
Yeah.
and of course, one knows that there are certain pros and cons. You have more time to get into characterization, more time to spend doing the background of your plot. So, what was your experience? What were the pros and cons when it comes to films versus a web show?
Okay. It's pretty much like. I mean, as a writer, I felt that it's pretty much very similar to writing a novel, for that matter. You can drift away from the main arc, talk about a few things, come back to the main arc, talk about characters, can indulge a bit with the characters, and then come back, digress a bit, and then come back to the main spine of the story. So I found that it was an interesting. I mean, and since I've written a novel, I felt it that way even more strongly. That the writing is very similar to that format. Uh, in terms of execution, also, I had the bandwidth and the latitude to understand very carefully that okay, now this bit of digression is okay. Any more than this can be a little tricky. So
Right.
then the director takes over from the writer and then indulges only that bit, only that much.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, so principally, yes, I felt that that's the format that's closest to the writing of the series, and uh, it's fantastic if you've got beat enough for a 7 hour story. I mean, you don't have to cramp it all in a 2.5 hour experience of a cinema
Correct.
uh, or theater experience, so to speak. So if you want to tell these longer, bigger stories, I think that's a fantastic format, and you shouldn't look at it as a poor cousin of cinema. Is what I is how I see it. I mean, just because okay, आप ये सब्जेक्ट पर आपके साथ फिल्म नहीं बनाने को कोई तैयार है तो let's make a web series and get this
Correct.
stuff out of the way. That should be the outlook. This medium, in my opinion, deserves a lot more respect than what people were giving it, and only in that lies the true merit of it, I feel.
Now, in terms of scale, when you compare it to your films, whether it's budget or the kind of locations that you've gone to, the scale of shooting, how would you compare special ops with, say, a baby?
At par. I mean, that's exactly what I wanted to say. That for us, our foray into the web space, and I'm talking about Friday Storytellers here, the digital arm of our company. I mean, we're very clear that we are not going to just enter because that's what the current trend is, that people are making more and more web content, and let's also try and make some just because everybody is making. We wanted to be very very clear that we look at it in a much different manner than how others are perceiving and jumping at it. We wanted to make something which was really faithful to the format in terms of potential, and that's when Mr. Uday Shankar and me, we ended up chatting about it, and we found that okay, yeah, I mean, he's looking at it the same way that I'm looking at it, and it was a very very brief discussion, and we were on. I mean, it didn't take too much time at all. Uh, I mean, since I know him for a long time, and he was aware of my work, and our vision became even more easier. But both of us, we felt that we can really up the game on this one, and that was the primary vision, the singular vision with which we started on this.
Now, your role on special ops is like a showrunner, I'm guessing, as a creator.
यार वो
So,
बड़ा मिसलीडिंग टर्म है हमारे लिए, हम
हाँ.
लोग शो रनिंग ही करते हैं अभी तक.
अभी उसके लिए एक definition मिल गया आपको.
I don't know how to call that. I mean, we've done this bit. I mean, I pretty much, I'll tell you, my role play on this one was very similar to what I do on films, except that, you know, instead of one director, I had a co-director with me on this, and Shivam was going to be co-directing this entire thing. Otherwise, in our company, the roles are pretty much very well etched out. I mean, I do the writing and direction on the projects that, you know, I'm actively participating in, and
Right.
Sheetal takes care of the production bit. And precisely that's what we did. I mean, I wrote this along with Deepak and Benazir, and then I co-directed this with Shivam. So that's it, yeah.
Okay, okay. Now with films like Wednesday, Baby, Naam Shabana, Ayari, do you feel that, or at least the media sees you as you've been typecast as a certain kind of a director, and have you come to terms with that?
Not at all, because I don't believe in it. You missed out Dhoni again because
No,
you wanted to
that's
take
an
this question
exception.
forward.
That's the
So,
exception.
yeah, that's how people look at it. But I've always believed that yes, I think I'm a storyteller, and as storyteller, I'd like to dabble in each and every genre that I'm comfortable with. So whether it was a short film called Ouch, I don't know whether you've seen that or not, but
No.
it's on YouTube. You can see that it's a 12-minute, 13-minute piece. It's a black humor comic piece, and whether it was Toilet or whether it was Rustam or whether it was Dhoni, we're always looking for stories that sort of appeal to us, and if we find joy in sharing with the audience, then we go ahead with them. So, contrary to what people think, I think, and that's something that I strongly believe in, that let people do their thing and let me do my thing. I mean, what I'm comfortable with, what I believe in, and Chanakya obviously was another step in that direction, that I strongly felt that that story needed to be shared with the larger audience, and that's how we went about it.
Okay. Now, I wanted to ask you, with most films and web series that deal with Islamist terrorism, there's always the second narrative which goes into the good Muslim versus the bad Muslim, and that whole stereotype depiction. At a time when, we also hear about a Davinder Singh being caught and deep state being inactive, um, don't you think that we have to sort of probably break away from the usual stereotyping that we have come to see that's become a part of these, spy, espionage kind of thrillers? Or how do you react to this whole narrative?
My take has always been simple: that why are we mixing religion with people who are doing this stuff? I mean, that's not the right mix at all. A terrorist is a terrorist. It's as simple as that. It doesn't need the touch of religion to be branded in a particular manner. It's a terrorist will be a terrorist, an anarchist will be an anarchist, and that's how I feel about it. It's just that we've started looking at it from that lens that sort of starts complicating things unnecessarily, in my opinion. And I have always personally looked at it that manner, right from the first film that we made, where we refused to name Nasir's character, and that was the whole logic. I mean, the guy refuses to share his name, Mr. K's character, because he says it in one line, and which holds true right even till today. That the moment I would have loved to share the name, but you will find the religion in it, and then you will start seeing it in a different manner. And that's the core messaging which I personally believe in a lot. That yeah, you don't need to mix religion in all this, and that's where I stand. That's where I stood with our first film, and that's where I stand right now.
Now, I want to talk about KK Menon. He's one
Yep.
of our brightest and best actors.
Yep.
He's a little reclusive, so we don't get to see a lot of him on, in interviews. But you had a long working relationship with him.
Right.
What can you tell us about KK Menon, how he's evolved as an actor over the years, and something that sets him apart from the rest of the actors that you work with?
Fantastic actor, fantastic human being to work with. Uh, I mean, I've known him for about 18 years now, and I I actually share the same equation that I shared with him on my television project. I mean, I give him a script. We discuss what needs to be done. He's off. He comes back on only on shoot day. We go ahead, we shoot, and we move on. I mean, both of us are very unsocial beings, so we pick up from where we leave every time that we meet, and we go about our jobs. Uh, I think he's not gotten his due. Is something that we feel about so many people, and that's life, I guess. I don't look at it beyond it. I mean, it's never too late. Just the other day, we were chatting, and he was talking about the fact that this has been unbelievable for him in terms of the response that he's getting. And he sent me a text to that effect, and I just sent him long due and a smiley. I mean, that's what I feel about it. That he's a fantastic actor, and I think great things will happen to him if it's not happened to him already. I definitely look at him as a great collaborator. Uh, so whenever I get the chance, I'll try and work with him as much as I can, and leave the rest to life, I guess. Yeah, his and mine.
Okay, okay. Now, we are all homebound for the next 21 days for sure.
Yeah.
What better time to ask Neeraj Pandey to recommend 5 thrillers to watch while we're at home? You can take your time, and you want to think about
Why
it.
thrillers? Why only thrillers? You're already typecasting me. What I'll do is I'll list 5 movies that come to my mind right now. Not in any. I mean, there are 8 movies that I've already recommended by way of special ops, because each episode is titled after a film that I'm very fond of. They shaped up my thinking, my liking, right from my childhood. So there are 8 films there, named after. I mean, the title of every episode that's there. So आठ तो मैंने वहाँ हिंदी आपको दे दी है, and for 5 films that right now come to my mind, apart from those 8, would be there's a film called The Right Stuff that I'm very fond of. It's based on it's based on this fantastic space and pilots, astronauts, and stuff. Brilliant film in my opinion. I would recommend. I didn't have Jewel Thief in that list that I have on the on the Vijay Anand film. I love that film. I love Pyasa also, for that matter. Fantastic film in my opinion. I would recommend The Usual Suspects. It's a fantastic film.
Right.
And again, pretty unique. And the last one, why not good old Godfather? I mean, it's a trilogy. I would recommend that. Yeah.
Okay. Now, your production house is remaking Ishq, the Malayalam film. When I watched that film, I mean, I absolutely loved it. And the first thought that came to my mind is that why isn't somebody remaking this film in Hindi? Because it has so much potential.
Right.
Could you tell me what drew you to the film? And has the
Sorry?
cast been finalized? What drew you to the film Ishq? And has the cast been finalized? A team?
What drew me to the film was the simplicity with which such a story was told. I was quite blown away by the fact that they turned the writer and the director, they turned an incident into a full film, and not for once do you feel watching something which is sort of not happened in your own life in some way or the other. Maybe it would happen at a 0.1% kind of a relatability, but I'm sure that all of us, each of us, have gone through some incident of that nature, maybe a rebuke, maybe a retort, maybe in some form or the other, and we felt that rage, we felt that pain and that anguish and that tension. Tremendous catharsis is what I felt from that film. And I felt that this needed to be told on our national level, and that's how it all started. We've started auditioning people. We shortlisted a lot of people right now. Unfortunately, work is stalled on that film. So we'll resume first thing the moment everything comes back to normalcy. But that's one story that we are all excited about. We are very passionate about. I met the writer and the director. They flew down from Kerala, and we shared notes on what was missed out in their communication in terms of the film and all of that. And they were very forthcoming, young kids, and very proud of the work that they have done. And we wanted to be true to their vision and what they felt about the film. So very interesting project for us. We want to do it pretty much the same way, just adapt it rightly and tell it rightly. We don't want to fall into that whole star thing with that film. We want to tell it as real as possible. So hopefully we'll live up to what the original has done. Yeah.
Okay, great, great. So you're casting new actors totally.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So all the best for, of course, both Special Ops and Ishq, and looking
Thank you so
forward.
much. Thank you so much. Thanks so much.